The pun.
Well, and it's an overabundance of caution, I believe, as well, as it's going to be the classic race that we have here with this moisture that is in the form of light rain right now, moving out later on tonight, and then overnight, the colder air starts to move in. So we're just going to have to watch the rate of drying on the roads and how fast this cold air moves in tonight to see just how widespread any of those icy patches would be. Here's what we're watching right now. Temperatures well above freezing. This is all rain that we see right now. We're trying to see our radar trying to initialize this up in the far north Georgia in those higher elevations. Some of this could be mixing in with a little bit of snow or some sleet. But as we go through the nighttime hours, the back edge of this rain is going to slide on out of our area. So let me break down what's happening out there right now and what you need to watch for the overnight hours and into tomorrow morning. Take a look now at the bigger picture, and you can see here what we're watching as we still have this winter weather advisory in effect for parts of Rabun County and Habersham County. Those higher elevations, temperatures there will be at freezing for a longer period. They will have some slick spots developing there through about 11 o'clock in the morning. Now, going through the overnight, as those temperatures drop, we're going to be watching that rate of drying. Any moisture that is left behind, it is possible. Now, get this, I don't think this is going to be widespread. We're going to see icy patches developing, maybe some black ice in some spots. Again, that is going to be in patches, and I think this would mainly be on some secondary or untreated roads. Also, bridges and overpasses, any elevated surfaces might have, again, not like an ice skating rink or anything. We're just talking about icy patches possible. Also on elevated porches, on some sidewalks, and maybe back decks where we might see some of that glazing that can be taking place. So here in Atlanta, our temperature will get just to about 32 degrees, and it won't be there very long. That's why I don't think we'll have any major issues there. Now, over the weekend, we did have some major issues, some of those lingering into early this morning with ice and snow, and the ice was a bigger issue up in Dawson County. Deborah Tuff has more from how those folks were trying to survive.